Hi there, Greg from Trump Trader. Looking at the Euro US for November 12th. It's now 4:27 p.m. Central. Um, Today, pretty interesting day. Um, Basically, just selling all day, um, and that's probably from a few reasons. The first obvious one, looking at the 4-hour chart, is that yesterday on the holiday, it was a holiday here in Canada, it's Remembrance Day. Um, the price tried to well, at least touched the previous peak of 2 weeks ago. Um, so when it couldn't actually get past this point, um, people basically just realized that there was no buyers at this point, so there was kind of just a sell-off. So let's zoom into the 1 hour here, and you can kind of see throughout the night there, I tried to make a second attempt, but there was no takers. So again, just a sell-off. So what happens is it kind of creates um, kind of panic among people, and it just kind of everybody just starts selling. So it's kind of pushing the prices down right now. You can kind of see I have a red line drawn here at 48.14. This is the next SR in line. The one that I had previous was this gapped window here. Whenever there's a gap in any commodity or market or stock, it's usually a sign of natural support and resistance. So like that was my next line, and if you zoom into the 30 minutes, you can kind of see that there was definitely a lot of congestion for several hours here. So we knew that that was actually in play, and that was respecting that line. So I managed to take a couple small trades, locked in some profits, and put my stop loss very tight below this line. So I locked in some pips today, and my third trade I tried taking another long here, and I lost about 8 pips there. So nothing to worry about, but I made about 30 pips today, and that's really what trading is all about, is just realizing what the congestion points are at, and just taking profits when you can, and going with the flow, and not getting upset at missing out, or not jumping the gun or anything like that. You just got to be calm and cool when you're trading. Anyways, so I think the next sort of line we're looking at here is going to be the 48.14. This line is going to be in play, I think, and you can see like earlier on, a couple hours ago, price did come down to around there, and it got rejected instantly. So we'll see how it plays down, if it comes back to that point again, and if it breaks through, we're going to use this as support now. So basically what it did here, if we're looking back here, you can see that it broke through, and it kind of used this line as a support. So it kind of bounced off there again here, and then took off. So if it happens again here, if it's going to break through, it's going to use this as support. If not, it's just going to bounce off of it. But if it does break through, my next target is going to be this trend line here. This is the 4-hour trend line. So let's see how it reacts to it if it hits there. One trick I like to do that I want to mention is it kind of protects you from getting involved too early when you're making a trade, is I like to zoom in to see how the price is reacting. So let's, for example, look at the what's screen doing here? Okay, give me a second. Is I look at the 5-minute or the 1-minute. So we know that the price is kind of following a certain line, and this is roughly how it's looking at it, that it's following. Now what happens is you can see how it kind of bounces off these lines, and I always use minimum of 2 proven points. So here's 2 proven points, and you can kind of see what happened here. It bounced off these lines, broke through this trend line, and then used this as support. So no matter if you're looking at a trend line or a horizontal line, if it breaks through, it becomes support. So it became support, and then this was the line that I had drawn, this sort of the support resistance line, and you can see that it did have trouble getting past, but it's still kind of, even when it broke through, even this is not a bad trade. If you were to put a long in here and then just put your stop loss below here, it's still not bad, because it's still coming in back into the trend line there. But it's still kind of stuck to it. So we knew that the price really wasn't that finished yet. But if you did take that long, it's not terrible. And if I really don't like putting out breakout shorts here. If anyone's into that, I don't like that. I like to see where the price is headed first before I would make a trade. But the price got to the next support resistance line. Let's see how it reacts. But look at again, it's kind of following this line here. Look, we're looking at the 5-minute. So what I like to do is, before I know I'm going to put in a long, I like to look at the price breaking through this trend line that it's following. So if it breaks through, we know that the price could be tired of following this line, so we put in a long and then a stop loss below this trend line. Sometimes what it does, I'd say at least 50% of the time, it breaks through and it comes back and touches it. And that's exactly what it did here. It broke through, came back, and it touched it where it broke through. So just something to look for, and that's something that you should be practicing. That's one of the main, that's very important to learn that, because that's one of the main tools that we use as a trader. So look into that. So anyways, this was more about kind of just some tips here and there, and some prices to look at for tomorrow. Tomorrow's November 13th, Friday. Fridays are kind of tough to trade. They're going to be either, it can be quiet or it could be volatile, depending on how the market movers see themselves. They like to take profits sometimes on Fridays, so they just move the market however they like. It sometimes doesn't follow it, so be very careful on Fridays. Regardless, these are the price points to look at. Is the 48.14, and if it does break through, it's going to be this trend line here. And if it does come back up, well, we're going to use maybe this line as support, 48.52. So let's just look at that, and hopefully this was helpful, and we'll see you next time. Take care.